In the quiet village of Mushari, nestled within the rural landscapes of Bihar, India, life appeared to move at a slow and predictable pace. Surrounded by lush fields and modest homes, it was a place where everyone knew everyone, and secrets were hard to keep. Yet, amidst this seemingly peaceful setting, an unimaginable darkness loomed. A secret so horrifying it would shake the community and leave a lasting scar on the world's conscience. In this unassuming village lived Amarjeet Sada, a boy who seemed ordinary on the surface. But at just 7 years old, Amarjeet crossed the bounds of innocence and humanity in ways that defied comprehension. His actions would soon mark him as the youngest serial killer ever documented, a chilling figure whose story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about childhood, morality, and the limits of justice. This video, we delve into the haunting tale of Amarjeet Sada, a boy whose life serves as both a cautionary tale and a grim reminder of the complexities of human nature, even in its youngest forms. This is the story of a child who left behind not just victims, but questions that still echo unanswered. Born in 1998, Amarjeet Sada came into the world as any other child might, full of potential and innocence. However, his upbringing in Mushari, a small and impoverished village in Bihar, painted a much darker picture. Life in Mushari was challenging, marked by poverty and limited resources, and Amarjeet's family bore the full brunt of these hardships. His parents, both labourers, were constantly engaged in a daily struggle for survival, leaving little room to nurture or supervise their young son. Amarjeet was often left to his own devices, roaming freely around the village. In this lack of structure and care, he found neither guidance nor boundaries. From an early age, he began to display behaviours that might have raised alarm in a more attentive environment. Yet, in the hustle of daily survival, these signs were either overlooked or dismissed as the mischief of an energetic child. Behind his seemingly innocent face, a sinister side began to emerge. This hidden darkness, unnoticed and unchecked, would eventually lead Amarjeet down a path that no one could have foreseen. A path that would not only shatter his family, but would also horrify the world. His story stands as a reminder of how neglect and deprivation can sometimes mask the emergence of something truly monstrous. In 2006, a harrowing tragedy unfolded in the Sada family when Amarjeet's 6-month-old cousin was found dead under mysterious circumstances. At first glance, it seemed like a devastating but natural misfortune, an accident that left the family mourning the loss of an innocent child. Yet, hidden beneath the surface of their sorrow was an unimaginable truth. This was no accident. Amarjeet, only 7 years old at the time, was the one responsible. He had taken his infant cousin to a secluded area near their home, away from the watchful eyes of adults. There, with unnerving intent, he ended her life. The reasons behind his actions remained elusive, as no one could comprehend what drove him to such brutality at such a tender age. When the truth emerged within the family, their reaction was not one of outrage, but of silence. Shocked and unable to process the gravity of Amarjeet's actions, they chose to protect him. Fearing the stigma and repercussions from their close-knit community, they decided to keep the matter a secret, brushing it off as an accidental death. In their silence, they unknowingly sowed the seeds for an even greater tragedy. Months later, the unthinkable happened again, this time closer to home. Amarjeet's next victim was his own 8-month-old sister. The pattern was eerily similar. The infant disappeared only to be found lifeless. Once again, Amarjeet was the perpetrator, and once again, his family chose to remain silent. Driven by denial or perhaps bound by love, Amarjeet's parents refused to confront the reality of his actions. Instead, they buried the truth alongside their child, hoping to avoid questions they could neither answer nor understand. By shielding Amarjeet, they inadvertently enabled his escalating behaviour, paving the way for further tragedy and cementing their role in the horrifying story that was yet to fully unfold. These two incidents highlight not only the dark potential that lay within Amarjeet, but also the devastating consequences of inaction, denial, and the failure to seek help when it was most desperately needed. In 2007, the unthinkable happened once more, and this time, the victim was 6-month-old Khushbu, the daughter of a neighbour. It began like any other day in the village of Mushari, with neighbours going about their routines, unaware that a devastating loss was about to shatter their lives. Khushbu, a cheerful infant adored by her family, suddenly went missing. Her frantic parents searched high and low, calling her name and asking neighbours if they had seen her. Hours later, their worst fears came true when her lifeless body was discovered in a nearby field, partially concealed by the underbrush. The discovery sent shockwaves through the village. Who could commit such a heinous act against an innocent child? Suspicion soon fell on Amarjeet Sada, the young boy who had been seen loitering near the area where Khushbu was found. Villagers had noticed Amarjeet's peculiar behaviour before, but no one had dared to imagine the extent of the darkness within him. When confronted, Amarjeet displayed neither fear nor remorse. In fact, his response left the villagers in stunned silence. Calmly and without hesitation, he confessed to the crime. According to witnesses, he even led the adults to the site where he had taken Khushbu's life, narrating the sequence of events with chilling detachment. Amarjeet's admission shook the village. The idea of a child, barely out of his own infancy, committing such a barbaric act was beyond comprehension. His lack of emotion and the ease with which he confessed only deepened the villagers' horror. For them, this was not just a crime. It was an affront to everything they believed about childhood innocence and human nature. This incident marked the culmination of Amarjeet's reign of terror, or at least the final act that came to light. His actions exposed a shocking reality that no one had been prepared to face. That even a child could harbour such malevolence, and that ignoring earlier signs had allowed these tragedies to unfold. Khushbu's death not only brought Amarjeet's crimes into the public eye, but also forced his family and community to confront their complicity in silencing the earlier deaths. It was a wake-up call that came far too late for the innocent lives lost. The police, tasked with investigating Amarjeet Sada's chilling crimes, were left grappling with the grim reality of what they had uncovered. During his interrogation, Amarjeet displayed an unsettling calmness, recounting the details of his actions with a clarity that belied his young age. He even guided officers to the exact locations where he had carried out his acts, describing the events with an eerie detachment. What shocked the authorities and experts alike was not just the brutality of his crimes, but the complete lack of empathy he exhibited. For someone so young, this level of detachment and willingness to harm others raised profound questions about his mental state and the environment that had shaped him. Psychologists who examined Amarjeet suggested he might suffer from a psychological disorder. Conditions such as conduct disorder, a severe behavioural condition often associated with aggression and defiance, or early signs of psychopathy were among the possibilities. These disorders are characterized by an inability to feel guilt, a lack of empathy, and a disregard for societal norms, traits Amarjeet seemed to exhibit in full. However, his age presented an ethical and legal conundrum. At just 7 years old, Amarjeet was too young to be prosecuted under Indian law, which only allows individuals over the age of 18 to be tried as adults. The juvenile justice system could provide care and rehabilitation, but experts debated whether it was equipped to handle a case as extreme as this. Authorities were forced to navigate the delicate balance between protecting society and understanding the root causes of Amarjeet's actions. His case became a lightning rod for discussions on mental health, juvenile justice, and the broader societal factors that could lead a child down such a horrifying path. Despite the legal limitations, Amarjeet's story remains a stark reminder of the importance of addressing psychological issues early and the devastating consequences of neglect and abuse in childhood. Under Indian law, children under the age of 18 cannot be tried as adults, regardless of the severity of their crimes. Amarjeet Sada, despite his horrifying actions, was no exception. After his arrest, the juvenile justice system intervened and Amarjeet was sent to a juvenile home for rehabilitation. There, he was to remain until his 18th birthday, a period intended to help him reform and reintegrate into society. In 2016, when Amarjeet turned 18, the law dictated his release. To protect him from societal backlash and possible harm, he was given a new identity and allowed to start his life anew. His new beginning, however, left lingering questions about the effectiveness of his rehabilitation and the justice delivered to his victims and their families. The decision to release Amarjeet sparked debates. Could a child with such a violent history truly be rehabilitated? Or was the system gambling with the safety of society? On the other hand, Amarjeet's age at the time of his crimes raised significant ethical concerns about punishing a child for actions that may have been influenced by circumstances, environment, or untreated psychological conditions. These unresolved questions continue to haunt those who hear Amarjeet's story. While the law acted within its bounds, the case serves as a grim reminder of the complexities involved in balancing justice, rehabilitation, and the safety of society when dealing with such extreme cases involving children. Amarjeet Sada's story forces us to confront deeply unsettling questions about human behaviour, the impact of early life experiences, and the limitations of societal systems. How does a child so young, still forming their understanding of the world, commit acts of such calculated violence? Experts and observers have pointed to a combination of factors: neglect, exposure to violence, potential abuse, or even psychological abnormalities. Yet, even with these possible explanations, the reality of a 7-year-old as a serial killer remains difficult to process. Most chillingly, Amarjeet's case raises the possibility that there could be others like him, hidden in plain sight. Children whose behavioural issues are ignored or misunderstood might grow up without receiving the help they need, with their actions escalating as their mental health deteriorates. The case also sheds light on the gaps in our societal and legal systems. Amarjeet's background, marked by poverty and neglect, may have been a critical factor in his descent into violence. Could intervention at an earlier stage, through social support or psychological care, have prevented these tragedies? And once the crimes had been committed, was the legal and rehabilitative system equipped to handle a case so extreme? These questions leave us grappling with a harsh truth. While the law provided Amarjeet with a path to rehabilitation, the lives he ended can never be restored. His story highlights the urgent need for a deeper understanding of child psychology, more robust systems of early intervention, and societal responsibility in preventing such tragedies before they unfold. Amarjeet's story is a grim reminder that evil knows no age. It's a tale that chills us to the bone, not because of the number of victims, but because of the perpetrator's age and indifference. As we look to the future, one thing is clear: silence, denial, and inaction only allow darkness to grow. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that delve into the darkest corners of the human psyche. Stay vigilant, stay safe.